Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to start out by giving all the glory, infinite praise, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Yahakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone Savannah, of Salakia, Great Millstone, that do rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect that is out there pushing this truth in all sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, giving diligence to make your calling of election sure. Shalom. This is your brother Hashah from the Great Millstone Savannah Camp. Coming back in the spirit with another lesson, Lord willing, I pray and hope that it is edifying and exhorting. All right. And this is a video, it's gonna I think I'm gonna title it the cattle squeeze. All right. And as you can see, the image on the screen is a cattle chute. This is an old school cattle chute, all right, a wooden one. But as you can see, this is how they herd cows, all right. And you have this kind of broad um way, which is, the scripture says the broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. All right. So and it's designed this way, like with a curve, right? Because the animals are only seeing what's in front of them. They can only see what's in front of them. They can't see what's at the end, which is basically a trap, a snare. All right, which the old school um or the wooden, they have wooden cattle chutes as well. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just go back one. All right. But I search ancient cattle squeeze. This is what comes up. You have this machine right here where you can lock into place, all right, your cattle, right? And this is important because I wanted to go into this article when it comes up. Let's say, um, all right. Yes, it says, and this is from NBC Palm Springs. It says U.S. automotive industry braces for severe motor oil shortages driven by Middle East energy crisis. All right. It says, let me read a little bit. It says wholesale motor oil prices are surging rapidly across the United States, prompting automotive industry leaders to warn of imminent regional shortages. The crisis is driven by ongoing military conflict with Iran, which has sparked a perfect storm within a narrow but vital sector of the global energy and lubrication supply chain, right? And what's happened is, the powers that be, all right, they're moving on, all right, with their plan, all right, which the plan is, control ultimately. All right, I saw a video of this woman saying, well, if we all just stop participating in the economy, that brings their end to, their plan to an end. Well, these people are trying to practice. Um, they want the majority of these people killed. All right, they are practicing, um, population control. Okay, so you will be falling right into the trap. All right, with these different protests that, of course, are going to happen. All right, with these different, these different industries, basically starving out the people. Okay, but they basically want a world where there are 15-minute cities. All right, there's a certain amount of people within these cities. All right, and there's no lines, and just a world where they travel and you don't. All right, they want you in the house on a VR set. All right, you can virtually travel and virtually do this and virtually do that. while they enjoy the earth, while they fly on a jet, right? Um, while they jet set to these different islands and you know, drink children's, BLOOD, that's what they want. They want a world, all right, where they can do whatever they want, okay, and they can do whatever what they want to you, okay, which by the means of those miracles, which they had power to perform, right, they're gonna be able to, what they want to do, Salakia, is transcend. All right, it's move past you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, transcend, all right, and become God. All right, they want to become the Most High. They want to become like the Most High. All right, and here's how they're doing it. Through the cattle squeeze. All right, I wanted to get, of course, um, Luke 21 and 25. It says, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring." All right, in the NLT it says, "And there will be strange signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Here on earth, the nations will be in turmoil, perplexed by the roaring seas and strange tides. Men's heart failing them for fear." Back in the KJV, men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming upon the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. All right, so um through their pseudoscience, their propaganda, their media, all right, there's gonna be a lot going on, man. As you can see right now, there's a poly crisis. All right, there's a outbreaks of disease. Different climates now. They're talking about El Nino. All right, storm coming this summer. All right, which their objective, their goal is to keep something new and different in your face. All right. And this is why we warned you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man. All right. And when it comes to who's in office, right, which it doesn't matter, but Trump is the magician. Okay. When you go into that word MAGA, it goes into a magician, all right, a high level witch or sorcerer. All right. And he's basically they're pulling out all the stops. Matter of fact, I want to get that. Enchantments. Let's get that. Stand now with thy enchantments. Yep. Isaiah 47 um and 12. It says, "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth." And this is a plan, right, in which they have labored to fulfill since um basically since they came out of the caves in 1300s, to fulfill this new world order. They set forth. You have men like I think his name is William Pike, um high level sorcerers, and they have labored. All right, they didn't rest in their glory. All right, they didn't rest in the splendor of their spoils. They could have. What did they do? They kept at it with this plan to destroy. All right, to conquer, to put you so-called Negroes, Latinos in greater subjection and bondage. And this is how, they're not letting go. They're not letting up. No, they're gonna show no mercy in these last days. We keep bringing it out. All right, but Revelation 12 and 12, the devil is come down unto you having great wrath because he knows that he had but a short time. Okay, so things are gonna get worse. Okay, as bad as they are. It says, "If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail." And this is what's taking place through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. These prophecies are speaking. All right. the powers that be, they're doing all kind of sorcery and enchantments, to keep the people bewildered, all right, to keep the perplexity um, up in this society, right? When you go into this word perplexity, which we're gonna break down both the word distress and the word perplexity, um, Lord willing. Okay, it says perplexity, apora,
Strong's G 640. Aparia.
aparia,
Aparia.
right? It says a state of one who is in perplexity. Uh, let's get it. I hate when they define words with words. Let's get the root word. It says aperio. It says to be without resources, to be in straits, to be left wanting, to be embarrassed, to be in doubt, right? And this is what they're doing. They're putting doubt and fear into people's minds. All right, they're releasing the alien files. There's just so much going on. They burying the Epstein files. Um, it's basically sorcery, it's trickery. It says not to know which way to turn, so that and this is what's happening. These people out here, the scripture says the nations are going to be perplexed. They're going to be in straits, and they're not going to know where to turn. Why? Because they did not have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures. All right. Isaiah, what is it? Is it Isaiah or Jeremiah? So I always get them confused. Um, and that's what's going on. You got people out here voting, that they're still voting. All right. It's Jeremiah 30. 33? Slovakia. I always get this one confused. All right. It's Isaiah 33 and 6. Um, Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge, right, of the scriptures. Let me quantify that, right? Wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures, all right? But also just, true wisdom and knowledge is wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures shall be the stability of thy times, right? And the strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay. So hey, these are very perilous times where if you don't have Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, if you um are not rooted in in wisdom and knowledge and the stability of thereof, all right, you're going to be out here just just dazed and confused. You're going to be in straits. You're going to be perplexed. All right. It says to be at loss with oneself, to be in doubt, not to know how to decide or what to do, to be perplexed. And we already seen this during the C-19, how these people didn't know what to do. Okay. And a lot of them turned to the government to make decisions for themselves. All right. And we see where that got them. So we're living in a time where you have to know what is going on. All right. The scripture says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So because fools hate knowledge, right? They're gonna reap the benefits, reap what they have sown in the earth. All right. So I got this word distress, which is the point of the lesson. Okay. When you go to this root word, which I got this from the Elder Yashawamba, all right, or the brothers in Dallas, it says, right, when you come down here, it says to hold together with a constraint, to compress. And this is what's taking place. All right. They're telling you that there's going to be a gas shortage. All right. They're telling you that there's aliens. They're telling you uh, that, there's these different viruses going on. Now Ebola's popping up. And this is not medical information of any sort. All right. But now all these different diseases are popping up, you know. And of course, him being and having the God complex that he has, he's gonna try to come with a solution. All right. And you have to know where to turn and what to do in these times. And if you haven't been rooted in Yahweh Shem Yahushua and his truth, then you're gonna be taken. Okay. It says to press on every side of a besieged city. Okay. And here's the point, right, of what we started with in our lesson, which is a cattle squeeze. All right. It says a cattle squeeze that pushes in on each side, forcing the beast into position where it cannot move so the farmer can administer medication. All right. And the medication that they're gonna administer out here is what? All right, that MOTB. Um, what is that? I just had it up. Let's see, sin, right? Ecclesiasticus 27 and 2, it says, as a nail, I want to get this in the GNT. Let's get this in the GNTD. All right. Um, but I'll read it in the KJV as well. Um, so Ecclesiastes 27, Sirach 27 and 2. Um, right, it says, as a nail sticketh fast between the joining of the stones, so does sin stick close between buying and selling, right? Meaning, a lot of criminal activity, all right, is centered around what buying and selling, right? In the GNTD, it says it is hard to remove a peg that is stuck between two stones of a house. It says, and it is just as hard to remove dishonesty from buying and selling. And this is how they're going to trap the masses of the people through buying and selling. It says, unless you are determined in your fear of Yahweh, your house is going to come down on you. Okay. So you have to be determined in these times, man. You have to fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right. And know that, hey, even though your house is being squeezed between two stones, right? And you know, the buying and selling is being taken away. All right. Things are shifting toward this digital world. Okay. That Yahweh Shem Yahushua spoke of these things from the beginning. All right. And he told us to basically endure unto the death. Okay. And this is why we've been, telling and, basically advising and warning our people to depart from the mindset of being here in America. All right. Um, Micah 2 and 10, it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Right. There's not going to be any rest here. Don't think that America is going back to normal. All right. And the only form of normalcy that you're going to get is a microchip. Okay. Put into your arm, and you're going to be more surveilled and even more trapped. Okay, because now there'll be no speaking out, there'll be no protesting, there'll be no freedom of speech. All right, all your constitutional rights will be gone. You'll be forced to do exactly what your overlords, right, who are small hats, you'll be forced to do what they want you to do, and if not, you'll be cut off, you'll be separated and killed from the society. All right. It says because it is polluted, right? This place is polluted. It's corrupted. All your politicians, and y'all are still out here voting. All these politicians are corrupt. They all answer to like we said, man, they're overlords, the small hats. It says it shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. Okay. So we've been warning you, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, to depart. All right, depart from America. All right, the mindset of this place being the end all be all right, of the American dream, the Christianity philosophies. Depart from this stuff, man, because it is sore polluted. It's gonna destroy you, right? Even with a sore destruction. So, seeing that all these things shall be dissolved with fervent heat, what manner of persons are we to be in all holy conversation and godliness? All right, hastening the day of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know, and a lot of people are not hastening. They're not looking for the Lord to come. They don't want that. When you speak to a lot of these Christians, a lot of these people out here, they don't want this. They don't want this society to end. They want to keep going in misery. They want to be squeezed. Okay, they just don't feel it. They're at the point which, when you look at this, which I had it up first, right? There's a reason why this curves. You cannot see what's ahead of that curve as the animal, right? You just going with the herd. You just going with everybody else. You can't see what's ahead. So these people can't see. All right. That's why the scripture over and over says, those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. All right. You can hear the screams. Surely you can hear the discomfort up here. All right. Surely you can and it's not just the discomfort of everybody up here, you know. No, man, it's discomfort from that medicine that's being administered. All right. So surely you can see it. Surely Yahweh Shem Shai is making it plain and clear to the elect. All right. But those that are of the world, they're blinded. All right. They can't see what's ahead of this curve. We see it. All right. And we've been calling it out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying and exhorting. I want to end off by giving all the glory, infinite praise and honor unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakapadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutation to the hopeful elect. Shalom.